So I'm 20 now, and I've been into business for nearly 5 years now. I know that's absolutely not a long time, but I would argue that I experienced and saw more than many other people or entrepreneurs. I run an agency and consulting business, had over 900 sales calls, I believe, and spent more than 20K on education and mentorships. I met a lot of people whom I used to admire, and pretty early, I started to see some patterns, things, and also situations that made much sense to me, but I couldn't put into words and quantify back then. And interesting was that these things did not only apply in my business, but also in life. And suddenly I understood that they showed up in the business space first, but are also part of the normal human's life. But people are usually just not aware of it. And before I talk more about these patterns and things I experienced, let me tell you that they actually changed my life, helped me to get results, and also become more aware of what winning and being happy means. So one day I stumbled across a guy on YouTube called Sam Owens. I'm pretty sure most of you know him. He is the co-founder of School. He's also in the consulting business space and made multiple millions there. But if you are not in his inner circle of friendship groups, you won't find much new content from him anymore because he kind of turned away from social media and focuses on his businesses instead. Anyway, I watched a lot of his YouTube content back then. And in the beginning, I thought, why does he talk so much about the mind, the universe, energy, and things that are not really connected to business in the first place? But after I started to notice the patterns and strange things that over and over appeared in my business, I started to understand. And at this stage, I also realized that Sam Owens will maybe the smartest person I will ever meet. And until this point, I'm right about it. So, after studying his way of seeing things and his way of thinking, I was able to put a lot of these concepts into words and also apply them specifically. So, in this video, I want to walk you through some patterns I've noticed and things I've learned directly from Sam Owens. And the first thing is about the way how billionaires think, because successful people have a really smart system and approach they use in any endeavor. It's called system based thinking. It can be applied everywhere. So, in your sales or appointment booking journey and process to figure out your bottlenecks, but also in your personal life. And it includes the input, the process, the output, and the environment, and also like the feedback loop. And it's a really simple graph. So, on the left side, you have the input. In the middle, you have the process. Both lead to the output, which you have on the right side. And then you have the environment all around and the feedback between the output and the input. And this system, again, can be applied literally everywhere. So let's take booking appointments as an example. In this case, the input would be the qualified people you find online. The process is reaching out to them and offering them a call. And the output is a booked call. On top of that, the outputs you generate give you direct feedback on your actions, so on the input. So if you book not enough appointments, you will start to change your actions as well. And at one point, it's a repeatable system. So whenever you put in X amount of leads and walk them through your proven process, a certain amount will book a call with you. But there's one element that many people usually forget about if they don't use this way of thinking, and it's the environment. Because the environment can change your output even if you put in the same input and have the same process in place. So, in our call booking example, the environment could be the different lead qualities you experience throughout a couple of days. So, this way of thinking is really, really powerful. If you don't believe me, just keep this in mind and try to use it with everything you experience within the next 3 days. And I promise you, you will be shocked how often it works and makes sense. And the next thing I want to touch on is pretty much connected with system based thinking. It's called cause and effect. It's basically what's in between the input and the output for system based thinking. Because whenever you put in an action, there won't be an outcome right away. There is always a gap between the action and the result, so the cause and effect. And many people forget about it. So every action you take today will show up as a result sometime in the future, not immediately. So let's say you send someone a mail in order to win them as a client. After you send the mail, this is what we refer to as the cause. It will take 2 days for them to read it, 1 day to get back and book the call. And the call will be then booked for in 2 weeks, and they will finally close the week after. The day they close refers to the effect of the action you took, so the mail you sent. But you see, in this example, the gap between the cause and effect was around about 4 weeks. So everything you do will show up as a result with a delay. And the delay can be different from thing to thing, but there always is one. And since many people are not aware of it, they stop putting in actions if they don't see results after a certain amount of time. And this means they stop doing the actions when they are right in the gap where it takes time for the results to show up. And after they then get the results from the actions they did a couple of weeks ago, they don't even know what they did back then. And they believe it was just luck and there's no system behind it. And even if they start doing what they did weeks ago again after they got the results, they still stopped for a certain amount of time, leading to an even bigger gap between the next results to show up. And if you truly understand this, everything starts to make sense, at least for me. And also, people often get too confused about what they need to do in order to achieve their goals. So, which actions to take or which channels to use, which needs to choose. But to be honest, this is not even nearly as important as you think. The only thing you ever need to do to reach all of your goals, to become a millionaire or whatever your goal is to act like the version of you who already achieved it. Because there is something you probably have never heard of before. It's called the alternative space. And this is a script or universe that is invisible but around you every single second of your life. And this script includes every single action you could potentially do at any time and their outcomes. So this script is also around me and you right now. And it includes a scenario where I take the decision to stand up and close the door, for example. And this will lead to the door being closed afterwards. And this script does not only include micro decisions and their outcomes, but also complete life paths. So that means there already is a version of you being broke. There is one working a corporate job. There's one where you have a big family. And there's also one where you reach the goals that you have, where you are, for example, a millionaire. Because think about it. If this scenario were not scripted and already existed, how would it be possible that they could occur if you take certain decisions? They must be there already. And the only thing in between your reality and these different scenarios are the actions you take in your reality and the decisions you make. So certain decisions will lead to certain already existing scenarios becoming true. Because every version of you inside those scenarios took different decisions to get there. So the only question you should ask yourself is not what do I need to do to reach my goals, but who do I need to become and who do I need to be? It's all about deciding to act like the version of you who lives inside the scenario that you want to achieve already. And it's about understanding how this person acts, thinks, looks, and especially which decisions they make. And after you got clarity on that, it's just about living like the person every single second of your life. So take every decision like him or her and try to become the path. Because if you are aligned with the decisions the person in the scenario took to get there, it will make the scenario become true. And you will be the person inside the scenario. But if you take different decisions, it will lead to a different scenario. So that also means that you cannot reach your goal without being the version of you who reached it first. But since you can't be him physically, you need to act in close alignment with the actions and decisions he made back then. And if you understand this, you are now also aware that the identity is the root of everything. So from it, there are actions and decisions which will then lead to the results, but with the cause and effect delay in between. And if people ask me how I got to the point where I am right now, I would probably say it's because I understand the laws of the alternative space pretty well. And especially when we zoom out, we can clearly see that everything is energy. So normal physics teaches that things are things and an object in front of you is separated from you. But if we have a closer look at quantum physics, all the laws change. In quantum physics, everything is a particle and there is no space between objects. So everything is connected. And these rules also apply in the alternative space. So if you want, you can already connect to the scenarios that are there because again, everything is just particles and there is no separation in between. And I could go on and on talking about such stuff. But the key lesson I wanted to share is that there is much more than you think. The world is much more complex than most people think, but everything makes sense on the other side. So using this video as tips or advice is the wrong way to see it, in my opinion. You should see and use this video as the gate to a complete new world, to a world which already exists, but isn't perceived in the way it exists. So make sure to keep the principles and ways of thinking I showed today in mind and try to find evidence and patterns for them within the next days. And I don't even want to promise certain outcomes or results, but just see what happens. You will be introduced to a whole new world of thinking in the next days if you apply them. For me, at least, it was like seeing for the first time.